Good evening, you are now with me, Handy Gui, for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. The state's bold actions for future growth. Anwar's cabinet reshuffle brings in 5 new faces. And FADILLAH'S new portfolio, the right move. In a strategic convergence on environmental conservation and economic dynamism, Sarawak stands at the forefront, charting a distinctive course amid global shifts. While the Western Hemisphere emphasizes rigorous environmental preservation and a gradual shift away from fossil fuels, Sarawak showcases its commitment to green energy initiatives and sustainable economic practices. Daryl Law has the report.
The recent United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28, provided a pivotal platform for Sarawak to glean insight and also accelerate its green agenda, exploring avenues such as algae, hydrogen, hydro, green ammonia, green methanol, biomass, and other innovative renewable sectors.
Deputy Minister of Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Dr. Hazlan Abang Hipni, is optimistic about COP28 and emphasizes the critical need to accelerate the global transition to address climate change. He underscores the urgency of translating ambitious narratives into practical action plans and highlights the substantial financial investment required for achieving global net zero. Dr. Hazlan points out that nations and companies taking bold actions position themselves for future growth, especially with the inclusion of the oil and gas sector in the net zero transition. He further stressed the importance of active engagement, profound insights, and collaborations during COP28, stating that success depends on clear plans, investment schedules, project implementations, and accountability measures.
Progressive nations and companies taking bold actions now will find themselves positioned for future growth. The inclusion of oil and gas business for the first time presents an opportunity to act seriously on accelerating the global net zero transition. The level of ambition and commitment of national oil companies will affect the pace of transition. A successful COP28 would involve active engagement in addressing climate change.
Premier of Sarawak's official visit to Dubai during COP28 yielded significant milestones with 2 promising Memorandum of Understanding MOUs. The collaboration between Invest Sarawak and Surbana Jurong Private Limited aims to strengthen the industry transformation with energy transition and industrial decarbonization on carbon capture, utilization and storage CCUS industrial park development and management, as well as Masdar and Sarawak Energy Berhad, mainly in the energy sector on the development of green and renewable energy, to which a steering committee will be established by both parties, marks a strategic leap towards sustainable development.
Well, I think it's a win-win proposition for both, really, right? So if you looked at what Singapore has and what Sarawak has to offer, they are 2 complete set of offerings. I think today we had a slight discussion on the idea of a partnership to bring the right kind of investments into the region. So we're not just talking about into Singapore or into Sarawak, but collectively bring a more complete value offering that will be ideal for the green growth agenda for this region.
The fruitful meeting with Mubadala Investment Company further solidified Sarawak's intent to actively participate in the upstream, midstream and downstream activities, marking a transformative step beyond the role of a mere spectator.
Of course, they are also very keen to look at our Sarawak gas roadmap. So they see a lot of potential where we can collaborate with these people through Petros in the developments of oil and gas sector. Not only upstream, midstream but downstream in the petrochemical industries and other related industries.
During the visit, Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan engaged with two Abu Dhabi agriculture companies, namely Elite Argo Holding and IFCO. It further highlights Sarawak's potential, particularly in the halal hub sector in Tanjung Manis, and underscores the diverse opportunities the state possesses.
We told them the potential for them to have a look in Sarawak. And as you know, one of the areas that we have already declared as a halal hub is in Tanjung Manis. And these are the areas where they can have a look. So if they are interested, they show their interest, and we are willing to assist them to facilitate their investment.
Meanwhile, SEDC Energy CEO Robert Harden took the stage as a key player in the National Energy Transition Roadmap NET-R, spearheading the critical hydrogen pillar of this groundbreaking initiative. The NET-R aims to pave the way for a sustainable energy future, and SEDC Energy's leadership in the hydrogen sector is proving to be a game changer.
Technically, this is the platform where the right-minded people, I would say, right-minded industry players, all group together, and we try to find ways on how to make things happen for a more sustainable future.
Harden stated that the hydrogen sector represents uncharted territory for many, making collaborative discussions even more crucial. The company is not only sharing its experiences, but also addressing the challenges faced and exploring potential solutions in tandem with fellow industry leaders.
Overall, the visit to Dubai signifies a trump for Sarawak in paving the way for private sector's investment that will not only generate high-paying income jobs, but also enriching the local populace. This comprehensive and successful approach has provided Sarawak and positioned Sarawak as the global player in sustainable development. I'm Daryl, together with Aziz, Dubai, TVS.
Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim's cabinet reshuffle earlier today saw the introduction of a new face to helm the finance ministry. Even as several other familiar faces returned to the lineup and others were dropped or had their portfolios switched. Among the notable changes, Chief Executive Officer of the Employees Provident Fund EPF, Amir Hamzah Azizan, was appointed second finance minister. Edging out other names such as United Malay's National Organisation UMNO veteran Johari Abdul Ghani, who had been touted for the role.
Amir, who is the eldest son of the former Petronas chairman and president Azizan Zainul Abidin, is a political newcomer. He was sworn in as senator early on Tuesday, so to enable him take up the role of finance ministry. Meanwhile, UMNO Deputy President Muhammad Hassan will become the Minister of Foreign Affairs, succeeding Dr. Zamri Abdul Qadir. Khalid Nordin, another UMNO member, will take over as Defence Minister, while Dr. Zamri will assume the role vacated by Khalid. Johari will be responsible for the Plantation Industries and Communities Ministry. From Parti Amanah Negara, Zulkifli Ahmad will replace Dr. Zaliha Mustafa as the Health Minister, who in turn will lead the Federal Territories Ministry. Gabungan Rakyat Sabah Armizan Muhammad Ali will be the new Minister of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living, succeeding the late Dr. Salahuddin Ayub. A Democratic Action Party lawmaker, Stephen Sim, was promoted from Deputy Finance Minister 2 to Minister of Human Resources, replacing V. Siva Kumar.
Following the cabinet reshuffling, Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, expressed his gratitude to Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim for the appointment of a new portfolio to Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Fadillah Yusof in a notable move towards advancing Malaysia's energy transition. Fadillah is to helm the Ministry of Energy Transition and Public Utilities. Formerly overseeing plantation and commodities, Fadillah will now play a crucial role in reshaping energy policies to align with Sarawak's commitment to renewable energy. Meanwhile, Fadillah, in his new role, was also entrusted with the responsibility of overseeing the Sabah and Sarawak affairs. Beyond its one-year mark, the cabinet reshuffle of the unity government made adjustments to meet current demands and conditions. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim hopes that the ministers will continue to show top performance until the upcoming general elections.
Saya harap insya-Allah kalau keadaan prestasi baik, memuaskan dan tidak ada tekanan-tekanan atau permasalahan baru seperti isu saya sebut tadi digital. Saya tidak fikir harus ada apa-apa perubahan untuk kita terus ada rencana 4 tahun akan datang sehingga pilihan raya umum.
At the same time, Anwar stated that the 20% salary cut for the new ministers' team will also be continued. Overall, the cabinet now consists of 60 members, and out of this total, 31 are ministers, while the remaining 29 are deputy ministers.
Still on the same development, the reshuffling of the cabinet lineup aims to further bolster the unity government's administration and workflow. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof said the appointment of new faces and the setting up of the new ministries and change in portfolios took into consideration the nation's interests and political stability to drive the agenda of the Madani government for the well-being of the rakyat.
Yusof said that political stability serves as the main basis to attract investors and thus stimulate and solidify Malaysia's economy. Fadillah expressed his confidence that Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim had assessed the suitability of every minister with the portfolio entrusted to them carefully based on their respective expertise after having observed them throughout the first year of the unity government's administration. He also extended his appreciation to the Prime Minister for entrusting him with the position of Deputy Prime Minister and allowing him to helm a new ministry, the Energy Transition and Public Utilities Ministry, and Minister in charge of Sabah and Sarawak Affairs, adding that he will prioritise efforts to settle unresolved issues and to place the Malaysia Agreement 1963 in its proper place to close the physical, economic and social gaps between Sarawak and Sabah with Peninsula Malaysia. Having served the Plantations and Commodities Ministry and 2 terms as the Public Works Ministry, he promised that he would do his best to carry out the duties entrusted to him.
Now, 4 new ministries were introduced in the unity government's cabinet reshuffle, and they are the Ministry of Energy Transition and Public Utilities, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Sustainability, the Digital Ministry, as well as the Communications Ministry.
In a media conference, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the second Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof will also helm the new Ministry of Energy Transition and Public Utilities.
Datuk Seri Haji Fadillah bin Haji Yusof yang juga dipertanggungjawabkan dalam urusan Sabah dan Sarawak. Justru kerana kita menjadikan urusan semua negeri termasuk Sabah dan Sarawak sebagai urusan Jemaah Menteri secara langsung dan pertanggungjawaban saya dan juga Timbalan Perdana Menteri Fadillah, maka tidak diadakan Menteri Urusan Sabah dan Sarawak. Ini akan diuruskan sendiri oleh TPM 2.
The Deputy Minister post will be helmed by Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir, who previously held the portfolio of Deputy Minister of Local Government Development. Anwar also announced Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad as Ministry of Natural Resources and Sustainability with Datuk Seri Huang Tiong Si as his deputy. The Communications and Digital Ministry will also now be split into 2, with DAP Member of Parliament Gobind Singh and Deputy Datuk Wilson Ugak Kumbong set to helm the Digital Ministry. Meanwhile, the Communications Ministry will be led by the incumbent Fahmi Fazil along with his deputy Teo Ni Ching.
The Batang Rambungan Bridge project connecting Kuching to Lundu is undergoing a retendering process following the contract termination of the previous contractor. Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Port Development Sarawak, Dato' Aidil Lariwu, stated that the contractor in question did not comply with the schedule outlined by the Public Works Department.
He noted that this bridge, situated along the coastal road route, stands as the sole incomplete structure of its kind. The ambition behind the project is for it to claim the title of the longest river crossing bridge in Malaysia, connecting Kuching, Lundu, Sumatan. Currently undergoing the retendering phase, the project is anticipated to commence in the first quarter of 2024.
Untuk jambatan Rambungan di bahagian Sempadi, jambatan itu kontraktornya telah ditamatkan kontraknya kerana tidak mampu untuk meneruskan physical project dengan seperti yang di dalam jadual, jadi ditamatkan dan sekarang ini di dalam proses ditender semula, pembinaan untuk ditender semula yang jangka tidak lama lagi. Ya, jambatan Rambungan.
Faced delays and did not meet its initial completion deadline of December 16, 2022. The 560-meter-long bridge with a cost of 98.5 million ringgit was constructed by a local contractor in collaboration with a Chinese company intended to replace the ferry service. The project, which began on December 17, 2019 under the Sarawak government after the Pakatan Harapan government cancelled it in 2018, faced delays and did not meet its initial completion deadline of December 16, 2022. The 560-meter-long bridge, with a cost of 98.5 million ringgit, was constructed by a local contractor in collaboration with a Chinese company intended to replace the ferry service.
The new cabinet members of the unity government are urged to carry out their duties effectively and provide benefits to the states in Borneo, especially Sarawak. Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Port Development in Sarawak, Dato' Aidil Lariwu, expressed hope that they can contribute to strengthening the development of rural areas in Sarawak.
Di Sarawak ataupun bagi kita, selagi rombongan kabinet itu dapat memantapkan pentadbiran kerjaan persekutuan, terutama sekali dari segi cara tata kelola pentadbiran persekutuan yang lebih mengutamakan pembangunan rakyat, terutama sekali untuk pembangunan luar bandar di Sarawak. Pembangunan di Sarawak itu yang kita utamakan. Jadi harapan kita sudah tentu rombakannya akan memberi manfaat dengan kita di Sarawak.
He said this to the reporters during a site visit to the project site of the upgrade of the Kebun Kampung Beradik Semilang, Pulau Tanjung Embang on Tuesday. Also present was the state's Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Dato' Dr. Hazlan Abang Hipni. Earlier today, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced a major cabinet reshuffle, the first under the unity government as it enters its second year of administration. Anwar said the cabinet reshuffle was done as the government needs to make adjustments to meet the current demands and situation. Anwar, who retained the Finance Minister portfolio, said that the reshuffle was necessary to address every change in terms of economic development and issues affecting the people, including the cost of living.
Coming up next, 160 recipients received the MRP grants in Asajaya. And in world news, fears of wider conflict as violence escalates between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah. On TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Hello there and welcome back. Now, the recent distribution of Minor Rural Project MRP grants to 160 recipients in the Asajaya region marks a substantial disbursement. And according to Asajaya Assemblyman Dr. Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, it is aimed at fostering the development of their villages and areas.
Asajaya is now acknowledged as an urban area, prompting the need for enhanced infrastructure development. The grants allocated aim to support committees in organising programs, meetings and charitable initiatives.
Inilah kali pertama saya naikkan jumlah untuk JKKK. Tiap-tiap JKK dalam kawasan saya diberi 20,000. Jadi memandangkan kadang-kadang ada dalam satu kampung tu ada 3 KK, 3 JKK satu kampung. Kalau 3 kali 20,000 sudah 60,000. Ada kampung tu sampai 5 JKKK. Macam kampung Tembiran, dia ada 5 JKKK. Jadi jumlah untuk kampung tu saja untuk JKKK sudah 100,000. Ya, terpulang pada mereka bagaimana mereka nak mengurus, mengatur pentadbiran juga aktiviti-aktiviti dalam kampungnya.
A total of 2,394,000 ringgit was allocated to 160 recipients, including JKKS associations and clubs, parent-teacher associations PIBG, child care centres, TASCA, mosques and prayer rooms, churches and temples throughout the Asajaya State constituency.
Four working committees will be established to facilitate the implementation of the progressive wage policy. These committees will provide support to both the Special Cabinet Committee and Implementation Executive Committee. The focus of these committees will include policy development, system enhancement, skills upgrading, and the creation of an annual salary increase guide. And Deputy Economy Minister Dato' Hanifah Hajar Taib emphasizes that the committees will also formulate a mechanism for the implementation of the progressive wage policy to ensure alignment with the established direction and strategy for each program.
She said this during winding up speech at the Supply Bill 2024 debate for the Economy Ministry in the Dewan Negara on Tuesday. Hanifah added further that companies are chosen based on factors like increased worker salary needs, reflecting sectors and entities prepared to adopt progressive wage policy. In the coming December 14th, the recommendations from the Progressive Wage Policy White Paper will be discussed following its tabling last month. While the Progressive Wage Policy will begin its pilot project in June 2024, encompassing 1,000 companies with an allocation not exceeding 50 million ringgit.
The global displacement crisis has reached an unprecedented level, surpassing 114 million people by the end of September this year. The escalating conflict in the Gaza Strip has contributed to this alarming figure, forcing more individuals to flee their homes. And in response to the crisis, the United Nations is urging countries to support displaced populations through a global summit, emphasizing the need for solidarity and expressing optimism that positive change is possible.
The UN will assemble the Global Refugee Forum in Geneva with thousands due to participate, with heads of state and governments seeking specific responses to document relocations. The organization's refugee chief, Filippo Grandi, emphasized that the destructive conflict in Gaza, marked by relentless attacks from Israel, will be a significant focus of the upcoming forum. The second edition of the forum is primarily dedicated to addressing the issue of global displacement. Grandi highlighted that even before the Gaza conflict, events such as Russia's intervention in Ukraine, the ongoing civil war in Sudan, and the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan had already led to a surge in record displacement. The forum will be jointly convened by 5 countries: Colombia, France, Japan, Jordan, and Uganda.
Wrapping up the Nightline, violence has escalated at Lebanon's border with Israel as Hezbollah launched explosive drones and missiles at Israeli positions. And Israeli airstrikes broke several towns and villages in South Lebanon. Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah have been trading fire since the war in Gaza erupted 2 months ago, in their worst hostilities since a 2006 conflict. The violence has largely been contained to the border area.
According to a Lebanese official, Israeli airstrikes targeted the town of Aitarun, destroying 5 homes and causing damage to numerous others. Similar strikes were reported on the outskirts of the Lebanese village of Yarun. Hassan FADILLAH, a senior Hezbollah politician, characterized these strikes as a new escalation, and Hezbollah responded with different types of attacks varying in the nature of weapons used and targeted sites. Hezbollah announced launching explosive drones at an Israeli command position near Ya'ara and firing Burkan missiles carrying large explosives. The violence at the border has resulted in over 120 casualties in Lebanon, including Hezbollah fighters and civilians, while in Israel, 7 soldiers and 4 civilians have been killed. Hezbollah claims its attacks aim to support Palestinians in Gaza, where Israel has caused significant casualties. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned of turning Beirut into Gaza if Hezbollah initiated an all-out war. UNIFIL, the UN peacekeeping force in South Lebanon, expressed concerns about a potential miscalculation leading to a broader conflict.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines, anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the updates for TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.